from the slums in the hour after midnight, though no guarantee they will pass through tonight. If they do, we will only have a few moments' warning. You better hope they turn up. All these late nights had me falling asleep in my soup yesterday. Gil folded himself into the alcove, looking hurt. You seem very eager to kill me. I wonder if I should be taking this personally. What? And lose the suitor my father is so delighted I finally found? Heavens, what a scandal that would cause. I think he would be delighted if you were being courted by a pot plant. Ada snorted and tucked herself in beside him. As long as the plant had never belonged to Camille. She had met Camille when she still used her family name, Dubourg, but when she had formed the battalion she had taken the name Laroche after her mother. Camille Dubourg was the girl she had fallen in love with, but Camille Laroche was the one with whom she had built a life. As far as her father was concerned, Ada had abandoned Camille and decided to go home. He was only too happy to believe that the business with Olympe and the revolutionaries had scared her enough to leave the Battalion des Morts. Gil turning up as her so-called suitor had made him all the happier. His daughter home and a handsome young army officer interested in her hand was the realization of near all his dreams. Ada was disgusted by how simple his hopes for her future were. Camille and Al had long since left for England. Ada and Gil had spent the whole time investigating, but they'd learned nothing of the Duke's plans. Each plot they formed, each thread they followed, came up blank. The grisly Abbey laboratory had been abandoned. The Duke's former hotel had been seized by the Revolutionary Army to billet soldiers, and the servants who had worked for him were impossible to track down. He seemed to have no allies, no home, nothing. He was a ghost. For a while, Ada had let the thought grow in her mind. Maybe he really had gone. The blow of being defeated by a gang of outsiders had been too crushing, and he'd bowed out. It was a nice thought. But from what little she'd experienced of the Duke, she knew it couldn't be true. He was out there, somewhere, doing God knows what to God knows who. Only she and Gil could stop him. Now they were down to their last hope, their last foolhardy plan. A very, very stupid, dangerous plan. But that was the Battalion des Morts, the Battalion of the Dead. They wouldn't give up until they'd tried everything, even death. They had been settled into the alcove for only a few minutes when a scrawny girl appeared. Her lank hair hung loose around her gaunt face, and her clothes were held together by dirt and wishful thinking. She looked them over, then gave Gil a curt nod. "There's 2 of them tonight," she said. "Took Marcel Leclerc already." "Are you sure?" asked Gil. "Yes, I saw them do it. I'm not a liar." "I know you're not." He dug in his pockets and tossed her a coin. "Get out of here, mouseling. Stay safe." The girl snatched it out of the air and bolted. Ada thrummed with adrenaline. It was now or never. Gil pushed her bag of supplies over. His eyes were dark, unreadable. "I'm ready to die." Chapter 2. A Country House in England. James stood in the ante-room of his father's study, trying his best not to pace. A footman had assured him Lord Harford was inside seeing to some other business and would see him shortly. So James waited, sweat drying under his linens, his boots still dusty from the hard ride from London. The urged pace was strong. He felt, as always when meeting his father, as if a jar of live bees had been emptied inside him, every moment angry and at risk of being stung. But pacing only made him look weak. It was his anxiety painted on the outside. He would not let his father see it. He stilled himself, clasping his hands behind his back, as he'd seen his father do in his Westminster office, listening to complaining constituents or lobbyists in smart waistcoats. A statesman's pose. The anteroom bridged the gap between the airy, light rooms his mother kept decorated to contemporary tastes and the sombre, tomb-like gloom of his father's study. Tobacco-stained wood panelling covered every wall.